Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
People like buying stuff, but they don't like being sold to. So how do you, as a coach, consultant, or small business owner, manage to become successful, especially when it comes to selling? All right. Now, the goal for every business owner is to, sell our products and to actually grow our business. And I can vouch and tell you right about now that growing your business is tough. Maybe you're cold calling potential clients and you're having them hang up in your face, or you're sending hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. And you're wasting thousands of dollars maybe on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. And sometimes it just feels like maybe no one wants to buy what it is that you're selling. And if you're relying on your business to maybe pay rent and put food on the table, man, that will put an enormous strain on your emotion and really, beat you down, especially with your confidence. Now, what actually makes someone a successful salesperson, and what is it that actually makes people want to buy stuff that we're selling out there and making it, wanting them to come back for more? All right. Half of the time, we really have to make sure we are clear on the problem that we're actually solving for our customers. And a lot of coaches and consultants don't quite know what exactly that means, because when you want to speak to the problem, here's what you need to do. The problem that you present must actually connect with the prospect for instant recognition. They have to clearly see that they have a problem and that whatever you're presenting to them is something or is the solution that you need to, that they need in order for them to have either a business that's profitable and enjoyable or a happier existence. Now, the goal in every marketing or selling communication is to have your ideal prospect decide within 5 seconds that this is exactly what they've been looking for. So whatever you're going to be putting out there, make sure that people actually understand that this is for them. Otherwise, they're not going to be listening, because people do not listen to marketing that is not directed at them. So if you're going to be a coach or consultant and you're out there trying to grow your business and, grow your revenue, you serve a vital function to our society. And you shouldn't forget that, because whatever it is that you're helping people be, do, and have, we all know that they need it. Okay. So I'm going to pose a question to you and say, who are you to stop your prospects from receiving the goodness that you've got to offer? That's why we have to go out there and actually, sell and market our products. So as a coach, you might be creating, a market for products. For you to be a good person who can sell these things, you must take pride in your profession. Be it you're doing it full-time or part-time, you have to make sure that that enthusiasm is passed on to the person who's making a purchase, because sales is nothing but an exchange of enthusiasm. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you a few tips that have helped me really grow my business and allow me to sell the products that we're selling, and also connect with and relate to the audience that has now become my clients. Okay, one thing that you've got to realize is you're not the only person that has approached your clients or your prospects with whatever information that you're bringing out there. Okay, our clients right now are listening to between 5,000 to 10,000 marketing messages every single day. And these messages don't necessarily have to be like a podcast like this. They're showing up in the form of logos, ads, commercials, images, and so on. All right. I was looking at a LinkedIn post the other day when some mothers were complaining that their kids can recognize McDonald's from a mile away, even if it's just the golden arches. Yes, that's their marketing. That's their communication. They are communicating their brand promise based on putting their logo in front of you. So communication is happening 24/7. And how then are you gonna crack through that noise to get people to actually start paying attention? And also don't forget that these prospects are being overpromised and oversold by other people who don't necessarily have their best interests at heart. So much so that it's not just that they don't believe whatever you're marketing to them or whatever you're selling to them. It's just that they don't pay attention anymore. You know why? They've learned to filter through all these marketing messages that are being thrown at them 24/7. Now, how can you then grow your business and compete against all these bigger players? Because look at this, as a coach, consultant, or small business owner, you know what I mean? Marketing and sales is just one aspect of running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff, you're balancing books, and you're driving growth and a whole lot more of other things that you need to be doing. And it actually just starts to feel like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And at the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients with whatever problems that you solve for them, and you just want to spend as much time changing people's lives and solving people's problems. You don't want to waste countless hours each week trying to navigate the complex world of online marketing or sales, and certainly don't want to spend yet another minute on the phone having to beg people to hire your services or to buy from you. Unfortunately, you don't have to. One thing that you must do is you must honestly believe and feel that what you're selling is worthwhile and is of honest value in order for you to be successful in actual selling. The reason why you need to do this is because you have to really have an innate understanding of the problems that you're solving. Start with the problem, because at the end of the day, you're speaking to the problem, something that keeps your prospect at night, right? And then that problem becomes your marketing, because this is one of the most valuable lessons you can learn in business. All right, if you understand the problem that you're actually taking people away from, you will definitely be able to find your tribe out there in the marketplace. All right, because if you understand the problem that a large group of people have, and that problem now defines what your market becomes, defines what your niche becomes, and it actually defines maybe the products and the services that you're offering to them. Because if somebody has a broken bone and it's sticking through their skin, definitely they're going to need somebody who can fix that for them as soon as possible. So your role as a coach, consultant, or small business owner has to be looking for people that have got bones sticking out of their skin. I mean, these days we're looking at maybe demographics, psychographics, and even maybe behavioral measures. They're sometimes used to measure markets, but the more accurate definition of a market is this: it's people looking to solve X, Y, and Z problem. And you need to be playing in that space, okay? Because when people are always running away from pain so that they can go towards pleasure. So you need to showcase to people that you've got the right kind of product to give them the payoff that they're looking for. And when you have the conviction that what you're selling is a worthwhile product, something that will give them peace of mind and a sleepful night, then obviously you're not going to have a problem presenting it to the people. You will sell it with enthusiasm, right? And then enthusiasm is contagious. And when a prospect becomes enthusiastic, they actually buy. So you want to make sure that you are speaking to the problem and showcasing how your product or your services are the solution that they're looking for. And in the process, yes, some people might take a while to understand what it is that you're trying to bring to them, on the table. I was sitting in a networking group today, and some IT consultant was complaining that I'm offering a free audit, to people out there, and nobody's taking us up on it because they think that there's a hidden agenda behind it. Of course, it's too good to be true. All right, people don't expect to be offered free things out there, so you've got to sell, even if it's a free offering. You've got to sell it, to the prospect. And how do you sell a free offering? You need to really engage the audience and educate them on what it is that they will be receiving on the free consultation or on the free audit, and what it is that it will benefit them. Because if they don't know what the outcome is or what the payoff is, they will just think they're being sold onto anything. And like the topic of this podcast, people like buying stuff, but they don't like being sold to. All right. And in the process of you educating your audience, you've got to grow patience. Patience is a virtue, especially when it comes to selling. So many inexperienced coaches and consultants that we come across here, they might just call one or two prospects and then they quit if they don't get immediate results. You know why? Because we live in a world of instant gratification. If people don't like what I've got to sell, that means something is either wrong with them or wrong with what I'm selling. So they just quit before they've actually tested enough people, to work with. All right. It takes time for people to gain confidence in your product or in you as a person. All right. Remember, what you're dealing with, especially if you're a coach or consultant, is people's lives, people's businesses, people's relationships, people's health, people's wealth. They're not just going to stop what they're doing and jump onto your offer just because you showed up in their newsfeed. All right. Many people will maybe buy at once, which is only 3% of the market, but a big proportion will wait up until they've maybe thought things over, spoken with their spouse, or maybe compared with other offers out there just to make sure that they're not going to be making a mistake. All right. Let's say it's something to do with buying a house. Nobody wants to make a mistake and buy a lemon knowing that maybe the price is not going to go up, or maybe they haven't done their due diligence when it comes to making that big an investment. All right. So you gotta be patient with your audience and let them get to know, like, and trust you. And you understand that when people are now confident in working with you, they will definitely pay, they'll definitely stay, and they'll definitely refer more work to come your way. All right. Because most of your business will eventually come from repeat orders from your clients anyway. So you don't want to just come across as a one-click wonder. You really want to be a trusted advisor to the people that you're going to be demanding money off of. All right. So almost all business, like I said, depends on repeat business. And places like retail, it would lose money if people just came and bought something once. All right. Half of the time, we're actually losing money when somebody buys from us the first time. You know why? Because, we are getting them set up. We are getting to know them. We're spending so much time getting to understand their business. All of that we're not being paid for. But if they pay you again and again and again, now you already know their needs. Now you already know, their business. So you're not spending that much time. So you're actually now making a profit, based on the work that you're now doing with them. So any worthwhile endeavor definitely requires effort, and the amount of money that you make will be directly proportional to the effort that you bring to the marketplace and the value that you bring to the marketplace. So the more you stay within that industry, the more you have an in-depth understanding of their needs and frequently asked questions, so you no longer have to repeat yourself half of the time, or you would have created content that you can refer to, and people can actually get to know, like, and trust you using that. All right. So some people believe there's an innate trait that actually makes people good at sales while other people fail. But that's not it. There's a few gurus out there from the guru casino of marketing and sales that have, been bombarding people with this information that you've got to be a certain kind of person in order for you to be good at marketing and sales. You can make a lot of money selling your products if you just really put in the effort, and you also have a bit of patience for you to actually get known within the marketplace, because that's who people do business with. All right. And in the process of you becoming patient, you definitely have to showcase in your true authentic self, because if you misrepresent yourself, you will be caught out. And when you get caught out, then people will be happy they didn't even do business with you. You know why? Because then you showed your true colors way before they'd engaged with you. So patience is what a lot of people don't quite like, because they're afraid they might be caught out, that they're not genuine experts that they claim to be. So it will all add up in the end. So just be yourself if you really want to be good at selling your products, because a lot of coaches and consultants visualize a salesperson to be somebody like Elon Musk, who goes from place to place, who just buys other companies or things like Twitter, etc., etc. You know what I mean? And they've got a different persona of what a real successful entrepreneur is like. A successful entrepreneur is like you and me. You, the person that's listening to this podcast right now, you are successful in as much as right now you want to learn how to grow your business. You want to learn how to create for and relate to your audience without skimping or skipping the line. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be an outgoing personality. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a bank balance that's spoken about in the media all the time. And it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're not any of those things, you're not successful as a as an entrepreneur. Just don't imitate who you're not. Okay, be yourself. All right. I recently read a blog where a CEO was saying that one of the most successful salespeople that they have on their team is a man who had never sold anything in their life. And based on who this person was, just because of their determination and desperation, because they had lost the job they were working before, they became one of the most prized salespeople out there. Why? Because they were genuine, and they definitely had motivation to actually sell. Why? They had lost their job and they needed to recover the money. All right. So they were selling more than people that were actual professional salespeople out there, just because they were being themselves. Okay, your authentic nature and your authentic reasons for wanting the sale will come out, and the people that are buying from you will definitely feel that. So be yourself, and you will notice that people connect more with you than you trying to put in any sales tactics out there or some sort of force, in order, or tricks to make people want to buy from you. All right. So in terms of force, don't try and sell by force or give phony reasons, or call to actions that people will soon catch you up on, especially if you're selling things online. We all know that with webinars, you've got infinite seats. People can sit in that webinar and you're never going to run out of seats. All right. And half of the time, it took you a very long time to put that landing page on there. You're not just going to take it down. So stop tricking people into wanting to buy your stuff just because you employ tactics like scarcity out there. Right. So don't try and use force, like I say, because if you do pressure somebody into buying something that they don't want, you haven't developed a customer. That person is just going to buy and want a refund or a return a little bit later on. Your job and your role as a coach, consultant, or small business owner is to create customers for your products instead of the other way around. Okay. And while you're out there, don't try and plead with people to buy from you. Let people buy out of their own willing and able ability, because if you're gonna plead for people to make a purchase with you, they'll just do it for that one time only, and then you won't have any repeat sales coming your way. All right. So if you go out there and you're like, please try my product because I need the money badly, or maybe you get a sympathy sale, but again, you haven't developed a customer. Your role is to be developing customers that are going to be happy to purchase from you whenever you come up with new products that they might be interested in. All right. So instead of you trying to plead with people to buy from you, you want to emphasize value, you want to emphasize a real need, and you want to make sure that the customer walks away satisfied, all right, with the product that they have made a purchase, instead of them going away and then canceling a little bit later. I used to do that when I first came to Australia. People that were selling subscription for charities, they'll be like, please just do it for me. You've got a 20, you've got a 10-day cooling off period. You can exercise that. So the person in front of me, I would feel bad because maybe they've been walking all over the place, because I live far. So I can imagine by the time they get to my end of the street, they would have walked all the way, and I'll just make a PT purchase. But as soon as they leave, I'm canceling that purchase, with the company. And, it's of no use to them just because I just wanted them to leave my face and not go into that pity party with them. All right. So you want to emphasize the actual value and the actual need and guarantee satisfaction for your customer so that they're not going to cancel as soon as they drop the phone with you or as soon as they jump off the Zoom with you. All right. And like I said earlier on, your prospect is going to buy. And, if you can explain to him that your product is of good value and it serves a need, and that he will, derive pleasure or satisfaction from the actual sale, people will definitely buy out of their own accord. And of course, you must know that that those aspects about your product before you can actually convince others, that it's a worthwhile purchase. So you have to have an innate understanding of the kind of product that you're putting out there and what it is that it would actually help people with. All right. So like I said, at the beginning of this show, people like buying stuff, but they don't like to be sold. All right. Now, the sold aspect of it is you actually have to ask for the sale. Half of the people walk away from a sales scenario just before they've even asked for the customer to buy. And the reason why a lot of people don't buy is because they haven't been asked to. Okay. So if you don't close the sale, okay, I mean, it is a critical and a crucial part of any sales approach out there. You must be able to ask for the sale. Never walk away without having asked for the order, and never be afraid to ask, because you've given the client a scenario. You've told them what is wrong with their business, or you've told them what's wrong with their life and everything else that comes along with it, but you are not giving them an opportunity to make a purchase. That is wrong. All right. So you must not be afraid to ask for the order. All right. Because the order in and of itself, or the close, naturally depends upon the proper overall presentation. Have you given enough value in order for you to then say, hey, would you like fries with that? Or would you like me to help you implement what I've just mentioned within your business? All right. So if you've shown the prospect that your product has value, there's a need for it, and there's potential enjoyment, you definitely have to be ready to ask for an order. Okay. And throughout, the whole presentation, do what's called test close. Where you'll be asking them if they are happy with what you're saying so far. And they're called trial closes, just so that you can see that when you do get to the end or the bottom of, your sales script, you already have somebody who's bought into the idea of what it is that you're selling. All right. You can start asking questions like, when do you want to start? Or, are you okay to do this over weekends? Anything that gives you an indication that this person is going to make a purchase in the end. All right. And since you already know what it is that you're selling, you need to make sure you're setting goals for yourself. Where if you're in sales, you definitely must be self motivated, and you should know what it is that you're striving for and what you're working towards. Because if you don't have goals, then you're never going to be steering any conversation towards any direction. All right. Because if any sort of rebuttal, or if any pushback that you might receive from the client, you might start thinking, oh wait, maybe they don't need it. And if you don't have any goals that are pushing you in order for you to close the sale, you just walk away without having done anything. Some people's initial response is just to say no. No matter what you say, no. No matter what, no matter even if it's good for you, for them, or whatever it is, they'll just say no up until they've been convinced more and more, of the goodness that is gonna come when they make the purchase, or when they actually say yes to the order. All right. So sometimes they need to ask their spouses, or anyone who makes the decision. Just make sure at least you have given them that opportunity to then go and find out more information. And if there's a need for you to schedule another call, make sure you do that on that particular sales call, and don't leave it to the other person to make that decision. All right. So if you're working for yourself, all right, you probably don't have a boss, you don't have a foreman telling you what to do and when to do it. You definitely need to be self-motivated. Otherwise, you won't even push yourself to go out there and get the sales that will actually change the course of your business. And it becomes too easy for you to find excuses for not making calls, or maybe sending out emails, unless you establish goals for yourself. So you want to keep accurate records of what you're doing, and just keep motivating yourself, because at the end of the day, if you don't do that, you're definitely not going to grow your business. And this is the reason why we've created the online prosperity blueprint, which is basically a tool that helps you get high ticket leads on autopilot, using our online prosperity method. Okay, so it's basically a simple system that I developed by throwing away the stale marketer's rulebook, and we adopted cutting edge new approach. And with this system, we've actually helped to scale my own business from 0 to 450 clients in under 6 years, and a staff of 16 people. All right. And I've been able to live my dream lifestyle, travel around the world, and support my growing family. And the best part about this online prosperity method is that it can be adopted to scale any service-based business to 7 figures and beyond, because it automates the client acquisition process. All right. A lot of people don't like doing the selling side of things. All right. And basically, if you book a consultation with me, we can be able to look at what it is that you're doing and how you are doing your prospecting, and we'll be able to actually help you generate these leads 24/7, without any tech overwhelm, and without even second guessing yourself if you're doing the right thing by this for sales. So once we implement this in your business, you definitely have a queue of dream clients who will climb all over each other just to give you their money, and you'll be able to grow your business to 7 figures and beyond over the next 2 years. And you never have to cold call another client again. You never have to send another email that gets ignored, and you never have to lie awake in bed at night wondering where your next client is going to come from. And you finally enjoy the growth of your business and financial security that actually means you can live life on your own terms. Does this sound good? Awesome. I'll get into more details about this game-changing method if you book a consultation with me. All right. And we can actually look at what you're doing and how you've been doing it in order for you to grow a business that's profitable and enjoyable. I really want you to succeed. I really want you to win. And I don't want you to spend sleepless nights, or, have problems generating leads, because after we've put in the prosperity methodology in your business, you'll be able to generate hundreds of qualified high ticket leads like clockwork. So you never have to rely on cold calling or emailing just to beg clients to hire you ever again. Right. So this is what I want you to do right here, right now. I want you to click the link that came with this podcast, or the email that came with this podcast. You will be taken to our consultation page, and I want you to actually scale your service business from 200K to 2 million inside of 2 years without you having to spend sleepless nights. And you can actually start creating diverse recurring revenue streams that will skyrocket your profitability and ensure that your business remains 100% bulletproof. Anyway, I can't wait to speak to you on the consultation. Make sure you click that button and we can have a chat. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au